That's right, everybody. We are in the red zone 10. Welcome, everybody. Thursday night here with a great round table, learning from each other, making sure that we take those experiences, that knowledge, put it together to help each other out. We have different parts of the country here, but you know what? The most important part is you. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, please share, tell us where you're coming from. But most important, we're only stronger together if we share each other's ideas, each other's thoughts. Because that kid that is in North Dallas, because of the economy, might move up to Ohio and go check out the schools over there with Dr. Joe. Or maybe that kid that came in military in Dallas might fly up to New Jersey, to Massachusetts with Nick or with Dean. And you know what? Our kids are really moving around. If you see the latest statistics, kids are really moving around to different parts of the country. So, welcome to Red Zone number 10. Ready to learn from each other. Take it away, Dean.
Hey, listen, nice job, Josh, as always. Thursday night's all about connecting across the country and talking about leadership and what it makes to make us a little bit better every time we come to the table. So, tonight we're lucky enough to have representatives from New Jersey and Ohio. Once again, Dr. Joe Clark has been on before. It's great to have him back. Same with Nick Edwards. Listen, both of you guys are outstanding at what you do. We're really glad to have you with us tonight. And you know what? Thursday nights have turned into a little bit of a mishmash for us, because what we really want to do is just talk to people around the country about what's going on in their schools, how they're navigating and what they're doing. So before we even get started with that, Nick, why don't you start off a little bit about yourself again? I know it's been a little while since you've been on, but just talk about where you're at, what school you're at, and what you do.
Absolutely. Again, always an honor and pleasure to be with you guys. Love following you guys. Love being a part of Unlock the Middle. Nick Edwards here. I'm a principal in Bound Brook, New Jersey, grades 3 through 6. So I have over about 550 kids. I have to give a shout out to Team Smalley. Some of our teachers were in a dodgeball tournament tonight. They made me a shirt, but I had to come home and help the wife and the little kids. And also tomorrow night, I'm an alumni for St. Peter's. Played baseball there. And shout out to St. Peter's University men's basketball team. Keep going. Love it.
That's good stuff, man. You're absolutely right. You nailed that right on the head. So great to have you back again. Dr. Joe Clark, welcome back, my friend. Great to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Joe Clark. I am the superintendent of the Nordonia Hills City School District. We are in Northeast Ohio, midway between Cleveland and Akron, home of LeBron James, of course. We still love him, even though he's with the wrong team right now. And 3,500 kids in my district. I've been doing this. I'm in my 30th year, guys. I can't believe it. 30th year in education, wrapping up here in a couple months.
You still have a lot of zest for what you do. And every time I have a chance to talk to you, I leave inspired, man. And it's a good thing that you're sitting where you are, because I'm sure you're taking your district where it needs to go. Hey, let's unfold this a little bit here, and let's talk about where we're at in the schools right now. There are a lot of things going on, not the least of which is, we're dealing with day-to-day noise that it's really interesting. I'm going to share a quick story with you today. My assistant principal right now is out on paternity leave for 2 weeks. And what I did was I had the distinct pleasure of taking over cafeteria duty. Okay. My problem with cafeteria duty is this. I've got this thing about personal responsibility where I feel like it's my job to help kids understand that if you go out to a restaurant and you leave the mess that you leave in the cafeteria, you're not going to be welcome back. Or if I come to your house. So the last 3 or 4 days, it's been like structure, personal responsibility, and it's working for me. But I'll tell you what, I'm getting calls from parents that are saying, thank you, Mr. Packard. My kids tell me what you're doing. But it's the end of the day, we have the content we have to teach, but we also have to help kids re-navigate and rebalance after COVID. And it's really hard. One of the videos I'm going to put out tomorrow is about the importance of personal responsibility with the growth coming through all the years. So in your schools, Nick, I'm going to go up with you first. Talk about what that looks like, because you know what? It's hard. Kids are coming in with hoods on their heads, hats. They're just trying to figure it all out, and reprogramming isn't easy. So where are you at with that?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. In the beginning of the year we were kind of allowing. I was kind of, really going slow with the kids coming back, staff coming back. It was kind of like holding their hands. We want everyone to feel comfortable. We want everyone to feel safe, but we also have to educate them.
Yeah.
Now we're in a time mid-year, spring's coming, so you see the behaviors coming, you see the arguments, the social emotional learning problems, um, just in the hallways, we're in the hood, so forth. So, I class trips are coming up, and it's a privilege to have a class trip. And now 2 years later, we can have those class trips to do fun things with the kids. So they're on hold if we have to, bring that discipline level to a high. I tell them we're in the hallways. We want to see your faces. We have to conduct the right way in the building. It's kind of bringing that tough love back into the building. I tweeted this the other night of a winning Wednesday. There's a lot of disciplines we have to have that conversation with, that tough love conversation. But at the end of the day, we have to give that positive reinforcement. You are still great at the end of the day. You are Team Smalley, and this is what we're about. But trying to nip it, lunch behaviors, same thing. I want to clean it. The custodian doesn't have to clean up your mess all the time. Help her out. We are a team together in the lunch ladies and so forth. So we're starting to come together. I talk to staff about it, parents too. We gotta get things back to normal a little bit and bring those values back into the classroom and school.
Joe, from your perspective, superintendent's lens, when you're sitting at an administrative council meeting and your principals are talking about this, how do you advise them on what to do? Because obviously it takes time to reconnect and recalibrate.
It absolutely does. And I'll say, when I was a middle school principal, I loved lunch duty because, you take the biggest, baddest middle school kid and he's still drinking chocolate milk. And there was something refreshing to me about that, It's like, hey, you're not that tough, kid. But, I think we're probably going through the same thing you guys are. Is one thing COVID did is it disrupted 2 years of not just academics, but also that social learning that we do with the kids. And so, especially the kids that opted to stay home or whatever, they have not had the consistent message that we have about just following procedures, and I'm a firm believer when I talk to my principals that discipline is not a verb, it's a noun. It's not something we do to kids. It's something we want them to have. And we do that by example. But because our kids have not had that example for a couple of years, it's been tougher. We've been having more disruptive behaviors, and I have great kids, so I'm not complaining about it. But compared to what it's been in years past, they're struggling, but they're getting there. I do believe that the point's going to come where it's almost like a switch that flips, and they'll be back. But man, they've been tiring so far.
Joe, I'll share this story with you. I have an 8th grade boy. I love him. 260 pounds, big dude. You'd think he's 17, 18, senior on the football team or something of that nature. He's got 2 lunches sitting in front of him. He's got the milk poured in the tray. He's got other things laying there. There's a spill on the table. And I go, what do I look like? Your caretaker? Am I going to pick that up for you? And I'll get the look, and he's with his friends, and you're trying to get him to understand. And in the end, what you do is you don't get angry. You remind them, and you remind them again and again and again, because that's what we do. Okay. And it's not going to happen overnight. And I love the old adage. Listen, if I get invited to your house and I take my milk and I pour it on the table, is your mother going to ask me to come back again? Well, absolutely not. Well, this is our house. Take care of our house. Okay. You have the personal responsibility to do that.
Josh, clean school's a happy school, guys.
Yeah. Agreed.
Just had that specific conversation, just like Nick said. I was told that during morning breakfast, there were 2 young men that gave the custodian a hard time in picking up after themselves, and they wouldn't pay attention to him. So at lunchtime, come here. Come here. And I broke it down. Look, number 1, he is not here to service your mess. Number 2, that guy cleans everything that is totally toxic here. He cleans up poo. He cleans up pee. He cleans up. I break it down to specific, ugly details because that's what he does. I told him he deserves more respect than anybody else on this campus because he does what the majority of the adults here would not want to do. For that reason, that he cares after you, that cleans up your mess, requires a top-notch A+ respect from you. Get your butt over there and go apologize, and it better be a sincere one. And then I break it down more because I started at that level. All of us started at that level at a fast food place, at a whatever, and we had to clean the restrooms. We had to clean up vomit. And if we don't break it down for these kids, saying, hey, it's around the corner for you, You're gonna have to do that. And so, innate, you gotta respect the dedication and the hard work that man does for you. Sure enough, those two went up to him, apologized for him, and but you see, I did it quietly, but I did it in front of everybody to say, hey, we're discussing this. They went to go apologize to him, and at that point, that cafeteria was nice and clean. So just breaking it down.
And Josh, to piggyback that too, is I try to get in there. We have one custodian right now doing all the lunches, and you have 130 plus kids. I try to get in there early. Where's the reg? Let me help you out. And now the kids are looking, and they're kind of wondering, like, why is he doing that? And I tell them, we are a team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I'm the principal of the building. It just shows the fact that I care about the building. I care about that person doing it. And, just giving a cup of coffee to a custodian and so forth in the building to show them that we care and appreciate it. The smiles is the most important thing. And that's what they do. And then the kids say, oh, thank you, Mr. Edwards. Thank you. And that's what it's about. Being that number one leader in the building to try to help everyone understand we're in this together.
Well, I'll take the sweeper and I'll walk between the tables and they'll see me picking it up. And I'll just go there. I'll mind my own business and I'll say, hey, how'd that bag get on the floor? Hey, those chips, how'd those goldfish get on the floor? What's up with that? Okay. Yep. They don't just jump from your plate. Oh, I didn't know they fell. Again, I get it. And some people don't have the tolerance to do that. I get it. And I understand. Sometimes I'll look and I'll watch my faculty and they'll be standing against the wall doing their thing. And as the principal comes through, I'm just picking up because you've got to get where they're at. And if you do that, it makes a big, big difference. And again, I don't mind doing that because I think it's important the kids see you in that capacity. Nick, I'm glad you said that because there are no jobs too big or too small for any of us. I don't care if you're the top, you're the middle, you're the bottom. We're all in this together. Show them you're real and good things will happen. So
I tell a story in my book about a time when I was a high school English teacher, and I would always see kids just leaving trash. So one day, I got a piece of paper wadded up. I put it right in the middle of the doorway in class change, and every kid stepped over it. And so I gave them the lecture about the clean school is a happy school. You have to have pride in your environment and all this kind of thing. And I agree with you guys. I am a guy that if I'm walking down the hallway and there's stuff on the floor, I'm picking it up. It is all of our jobs to keep, it's our home, right? We want to feel comfortable in our home, and a place that is not kept is not a good place to learn. So we're going to do that. And we're going to show that I don't care what your title is. I don't care what your position is. We are all in this together. We got to make this school a comfortable place.
I often wondered what would happen if me as a principal, if I decided to put a big wad of gum in my mouth, start chewing it, and right before they start their test, just plop it down and put it right next to their paper. And they go, what'd you do that for? And I'm going to say, do you ever look under the chairs in our school? Do you ever look on, underneath the tables? I would never do that because that would really be unethical on my part. But at the end of the day, those type of things, you got to get where they're at. You got to try. Sometimes those are the lessons that really stick with kids. But all in all they want to do is to know that you can connect with them and that you can slowly help them. Yeah, Josh.
Just real quick. Hey, Dr. Joe, can you please tell us, you wrote a book? Can you tell us what book you wrote?
Thank you for asking. Hey, my book is If the Dance Floor is Empty, Change the Song. It's title comes from my days as a DJ and a lot of stories in there about principaling and teaching and camp directing. And I enjoyed writing it. I think you'd enjoy reading it. It's a lot of fun and there's no research. So you can read it without, falling asleep.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
What episode was that, Joe? I think we had you on there for that one. We already broke that one down.
Yeah, we did. I can't remember. Yep.
But it was really good. And I'll tell you what, the metaphor, I think it fits with everything that we do. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, good stuff. So again, as we're moving forward 3/4 of the way through the year, what are some of the other issues you guys are seeing? I mean, let's talk from the administrative lens. What are you seeing, Joe, in regards to your district and what you're really trying to fine tune with your staff, your community, and your kids?
For us, really, I mean, it's still COVID kind of stuff, and it's really it's just morale. I think it's people are tired. And one of my also just a rock star teacher was on a podcast a week or so ago talking about empathy fatigue, about how tough it is to constantly be empathetic. And I think this year has been harder. This year for COVID was harder than last year was for COVID. And I think we really saw that. Now, here's the good news, right? The good news is it seems like all of a sudden things have changed. Like there's been a switch that's turned. We're not in masks anymore. So that whole battle in our community is gone. We haven't had positive cases. So that's gone. We're starting to do all the fun stuff that makes schools fun that we couldn't do. Like we had our winter formal dance with 600 kids dancing in the gym that we haven't done that in 2 years. So all of that, I think, is really getting people to finally be happy again. And, we're on spring break next week. So our teachers are going to go away. Our kids are going to go away and they're going to come back and it's going to be a grind for 2 months. But I really feel next school year, we're going to start on a high note. Like it'll be like the first day of school, the first day of school for a lot of people next year. And I'm looking forward to it.
I think you're going to have a lot of benchmarks that are going to allow you to grow too. And, we're all navigating through state testing at this point in time. You're coming out of a state testing that was abbreviated the previous year. You've got kids who probably weren't all into the state testing when they did it. Their scores are well below what they would have been. So I think you're going to get a great baseline, hopefully some good growth since we've been back in school this whole time. And again, I'm not a huge fan of the one day or 2 day tests that show the growth of students, but I do know that the more consistent we are with kids and the more we talk about our best practices and continuously just hammer home good habits, good things will happen. They just will. And, and it's not, for me as a principal, it's not the time. I don't like this time of year at all. I really don't. But I will tell you what, it's the necessary evil that we have to work through in order to show that we're still making progress. And, how about you, Josh, where you are?
I think right now it's the thing that we're all facing across the country is prepping or trying to overcome the obstacle of not having enough team members. As I said it before, we've been short 4 teachers all year long, 4. And the size of the campus that I work with, it really affects at 4 when it's a small campus. And so you have team members that have been combining classes. You have inconsistent substitutes that last minute don't show up. And there's a learning gap in this. It is my clients that show up to Memorial, they already have a learning gap by not knowing English. Or the at-risk kids that are teen parents and that are used to, have gangish situations. They need consistency. They need a good structured environment. So I think that's an issue that you see in New Jersey or in Ohio, that gap that we've had with not the quality. Mind you, there are candidates out there, and I don't know about New Jersey, I don't know about Ohio, Massachusetts, but I know that some of the candidates that are out there right now are not ready at all to be around kids. They might have the credentials, but I would not want to put them in that kind of situation to where they're in charge of 30 kids, 25 kids, because they don't have the ganas. They don't have the desire to be like you have those young whippersnappers before that want to go and educate. When you ask teachers or the candidates, hey, what do you want to be in education? Well, you know what? I thought it was a thing to do. And, I changed my major 5 times. And I'm like, whoa. I don't want to be judgmental, but, I'm a young 30, just like Joe, just like you, Dean, not a seasoned like Martin. But it's one of the things right now that we're really hurting. And it's going to reflect also on our scores. I don't make excuses. Trust me, I don't. But if you don't have a quality candidate educating your kid, they cannot address the state standards in an effective way. That's just reality. And so I know that right now, like you said, Dean, there is going to be a baseline.
Yeah, and I just want to take that one step forward. I love good candidates. There's no doubt about it. Teachers make the difference on how kids learn. But scope and sequence and what you teach is what really sets the stage for kids to be successful. Because if you have a district that has more than one school in it, okay? You have horizontal schools inside of a district, and there's not equity in standards that are being taught. You're going to have a disparity on what kids are learning. So again, when you have a map and your curriculum maps are aligned and your standards are rock solid, you know what? As long as you're hitting on them and immersing the kids so they can access their learning, you're going to do okay overall. What I really love is the smaller districts that have one, that have one town, one school, and you just become really strong with that. And again, I'm just thinking more from an organizational standpoint, and I make sure our staff, like Chris and I have sister schools, brother schools, whatever you want to call them, staff across both middle schools are in tuned. They are speaking the same language. You know, you might have different methodologies, but you want to know something, the experience that those kids get is equal across the board, because you can't have that in a district. Okay, that's the only problem that we run up against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback with that too. Is, you know, something I'm seeing as well with some of these candidates, especially with me, is that you got to research the building, you got to research the district, and at the end of the day, I want to know why you want to be in our building. Why do you want to be a part of our team? You know, and that's what I try to see these young candidates. You know, usually my final question: what do you know about Boundbrook? What do you know about Smalley School? And they don't have it, and it puts me in a place where, okay, you're really not interested in it. You're not interested in our children, our community, our families, our team, and that's a problem. And I think a lot of the young teachers out there really need to do that. Um, you know, it was pretty cool. We just hired someone for a position, and you know, I asked that question, and she knew a lot about our school. She's like, "I follow you on Twitter," and I was like, there you go. You know, we try to put out as much as possible for our students and our teachers, because we try to do great things and we want to get it out there so people can see it. But also too, you know, 2 years ago, I had about five to seven teachers retire. So I had these, you know, young teachers coming out of college right in the pandemic, and just seeing them interview, I was really impressed of how they conducted themselves, and the smile, and you could tell their personality and their character. We could work with, you know, making teachers grow academically with students and curriculum and so forth. If you have the passion and you want to be there, and the smile and the personality, that's what we need. That's what these children need, most importantly. So it's been we fired a good bunch of young teachers, and I'm excited for them, and they've done a tremendous job. We just implemented 6 clubs this year in our school, and some of these young teachers are taking a role, and it's really, really awesome.
Hey guys, we started a grow your own teacher program in our district this year. So we partnered up with Kent State University, and we have about 30 of our high school kids who think they might want to be teachers. And we're starting with them young. So we're taking them out to other buildings so they could, watch classes in action. But we're also doing things like having the retirement system talk to them, so they get an understanding about, hey, this is a pretty good job. You can make some money doing this. We have, we take them to the university so they can sit in on some of the education classes. And our partnership with Kent State is going to give these kids like 6 free graduate hours in the year between their senior year and when they start as a freshman at Kent State, in this free camp where they'll get 6 hours under their belts so they're ready to roll. We're really excited about this. Frankly, it came out of our diversity initiative to try to find teachers of color. And we have several that have joined, but it's open to everybody. We got about 30 kids. I'm hoping in the pipeline. Now it's first year, but I'm hoping in 4 years, I'm going to have a bunch more candidates who are applying. And they already know the Nordonia way, right? They know what our expectations are. So excited about it.
What does that look like from a basic school setting? How do these kids have an opportunity to, I don't want to say get out of class. Is it internship based? What is this?
I mean, it's a club, right? So most of their stuff they're doing after school club. I've got 2 teachers who I'm paying a stipend to advise the club, but they take field trips. And so one of their field trip days is going to other buildings. One of their field trip days is going to Kent State. And then, they'd use, of course, this technology to interact with folks at other universities. It's really, it's in its infancy, but it's being run by some all-star teachers in my building or at our high school, and it's looking promising. I'm excited about it.
Very innovative, man. I love that, because that's breaking the mold of traditional stuff. So good stuff. I mean, Josh, what's happening down there, Texas?
Well, right now, I try to put it. I'm not speechless that often, but right now it's just like making sure that we have that pipeline with our local community college, like Joe said. But there's so many little cities in this area. When I left El Paso, it's just one big region with 7 districts, but it's so big that we fed our own team members, right? But over here in North Dallas, as I become more well versed on it. There's so many little cities with so many little ISDs that teachers are gone real quick. They're really captured. If they're not happy per se in Garland or in Mesquite or in whatever part, then they'll just jump to the next little city. And the competition is, and that's where it becomes a big vision from Joe's chair, from the superintendent chair, and Dr. Lopez does a great job of making sure now we have open enrollment, bringing in the students from other districts, creating new programs, colleges in every high school, and those are the kind of things that will get us those quality candidates. But it also comes down to, as Nick said, what are we promoting as principals that promotes the campus, which is the district's vision? What are we doing to promote it out there? When I talk to our team members, I tell them, hey, if we want to get a good quality team member coming to Memorial, it can't just be me promoting it out there. I cannot be a lone wolf. You all need to help me to show it from the pedagogy in the classroom, from a great note that the kid wrote you, whatever it might be. Because if you, right now, the quality candidates are going to look for quality positions. And what are they putting, what are we as a familia, what are we putting out to attract top rated candidates? And since, and the perfect example is that since Memorial is such a specialized campus, people really don't hear about us. They don't hear about us. Now they're seeing it, we're doing a good job of putting it out there. But as I keep on telling them, it cannot be a sole voice. It can't only be the principal. Because then once I leave, once the assistant principal leaves, what happens? It all goes down. It has to be sustainable leadership, sustainable branding for the school to attract great candidates to be those teachers. And then everyone's going to say, hey, where's that Memorial? Oh, is that Garland ISD? Hey, let me go to Garland USA. Let me be a candidate there. It's about making sure that we work with our community colleges, great programs at the high school levels, but also every campus needs to make sure that they have a team system of branding what the beauty of your campus is.
So that's about telling your story. That's about marketing. That's about strategic planning, community outreach, district improvement plans. All those things are embedded with your visionary goals and what you do. And that's a great topic. I mean, we could spend 2 hours talking about what that looks like in all of our districts, from our varied roles here. But let's talk about that for 1 second. What separates your district apart from everybody else? Nick, going back to what you said, those applicants come in, some of them come in looking for a job. Others come in looking for a career. And that's where our job from our selection committees have to be, who is that right fit to put in front of those kids that are going to make a difference for 180 days a year. And that's what goes through my mind all the time when I'm adding another member to our great staff that we have in our school. And I've been fortunate enough to be in my school now for 18 years, as a principal. And that's a long time. Nobody's there that long. So the staff that we've cultivated, they're right on, and they don't miss a beat, and kids come first. So, what does that look like? How do you market it out? And, Nick, you do a great job with your videos. We talked about that in the pregame. I love those little quick videos because you tell your story, 2 minutes and out the door.
Well, listen, I learned from you, first of all.
Yeah, you got it. I learned from somebody else.
So I'm going to take that from you, but you hit it on the nail. It's a career. It's not a job.
Right.
And, first and foremost, it's got to be a reflection of me. I'm the principal of the building. So I see my vision of how I want it and what I've worked for. Like my story is crazy how I got here. I was hired as an assistant principal in a new district. And in 3 weeks, I became the principal. The principal went to another district, and I was a fourth grade teacher for 12 years. And I walk in, and now I'm the boss. So you have to make relationships, and that's the main thing. You have to get the trust. Your teachers have to trust you. So when the trust comes in line, that's where it starts. The climate and culture. I will always say this, and as long as I'm a principal, the climate and culture runs the train. If the climate and culture is positive, the kids want to come to school. Right now we're in the end of March, and our teacher attendance is still over 90%. That just shows a lot of the teachers want to be there. All they want to do is help. They help each other. They come up with ideas to me. Our teachers, one of our students just got an award from Somerset Patriots minor league team. They look to find ways to help our children in any way possible. And that's what we want to do, and that's why I try to tweet as much as possible to show the positive things in our district. It's a tough district. Like I said earlier, we're like 60% economically disadvantaged. We're a high ESL population, and some people may not be able to do it, and that's fine. You got to have that heart and that drive to deal with the problems that come along. But with our staff, I can't speak high enough about my staff at Smalley.
Joe, you signed the contracts, so you're the last person that talks to the individuals that are hired. What does that look like through your lens?
Well, to me, in fact, I hired my first teacher for next year today, who happens to be a Nordonia High School graduate from 12 years ago, coming over to teach family and consumer science. And for me, it's a few things. One, it's mission. It's mission. We recognize in our district that we are serving kids, and that is put forth at everything we do. The second thing is we're family. We say, hey, family first, but we actually mean family first. So when we have struggles, when people have tragedies in their lives, it's amazing to me to see how people come together. And the other thing that we do is we get out of the way. We are very, very good at not micromanaging. I tell people, what I do with my job? I do two things. I sign my name and I call meetings. That's it. Because everybody else is so good. I just need to stay out of their way. And it's a little bit of a joke, but it's true. We say yes all the time because if a teacher comes to us with an idea, yep, try it. And, if we know that it's not going to work, they're going to figure that out. I don't need to tell them it's not going to work. Let them figure it out. We just like to encourage that whole, it's cliche, right? But we encourage risk taking. We let teachers lead. And for that, I think they're very appreciative of that. I can count on one hand the number of times I've had to use the superintendent card to make a decision. Very, very rare. It's, what do you guys think's best, and how can I help you get to what you want to do?
I love it. That's what a great leader does. Really. Josh, how about you?
Well, I don't know. Hey, Joe, you got a job for me up there? I love that.
We do.
You up there, amigo. You can't take that weather in Ohio.
Oh no, you're right. I apologize.
It's me.
No, I think that right now, for us, Dean, it's been a reflective moment. Today I had a whole day because my 2-year-old got sick, so I got to stay home and just catch up on those beautiful emails and stuff like that. And you start analyzing, where am I at this point, and what are we doing to ensure success for not only the closure of the year, but for the next year. And it's those kind of things that are going on in regards to, my God, I still need to find for team members. I need to make sure that the kids don't get out of whack. I got to finish off our observations. I know, Dean, you were doing your observations.
Did 5 today. 5 today in the morning.
You need to do all the compliance stuff that goes with that, while also, like Nick says, maintaining the climate and the culture. Because you know that when you start doing the evaluations, you start walking on certain climate and culture situations. And so right now, it's one of those things that I'm very fortunate and very happy where I'm at. Very proud of the gains that we've done at Memorial this year. And I like to share one of the beautiful things is, if you know, on our social media, I always post our graduates. We're getting close to 60 graduates already. We might be breaking like 120, and these are all at risk, beautiful children. These are kids that are 19. Some have just turned 20, and we were our last option for them to be successful. But then I also have that kid that just came in from Vietnam, a 6th grader, and they're learning sentences. Might not be a lot to somebody, but let me tell you, that kid that just came from Vietnam, that is huge. So seeing the growth, the academic growth of that teen mom that has 2 kids, or that kid that walked from El Salvador over here to the United States, went through the whole system to get to these schools, and they're actually trying to converse in English. I'm very blessed for that experience. It's made me a better human being, and it's made me a very much better administrator, let alone as an educator, because the Lord also allowed me to teach 3 months U.S. history. And while I was teaching in there, you know what? Hey, it is kind of cramped in here. It is tough to shake off the rust. Hey, principal, go and teach. You're rusty. I was very rusty. It's hard. Trust me, you're literally going to be teaching. So we need to remember all the hardships by walking in those shoes. And I think that gives everybody the street cred. When they see that kid from Vietnam talking, when they see that child that's 20 years old that begged to come to us and met the standards and graduated, those are great success stories that I share with you in New Jersey, that I share with you in Massachusetts and Ohio, because we're all in this for the same reason, for that kid to walk from the right to the left and turn that tassel to the left. There's nothing more beautiful, because that journey, whether it started in Vietnam or whether it started in a Head Start, that is all success for the United States, because they're the future of our country.
Can I just chime in real fast? Because I want to, you're right, Josh. I mean, today I was walking the halls and one of my guidance counselors was doing a lesson, and perseverance is our character trait of the month. And he was talking, saying to his students, I was struggling. I got a C plus. So I popped in. I said, can I please get in this conversation? Because I was worse. And I told the kids, my freshman year, I failed 5 subjects. I failed. And I was almost thrown out of school. And it was nerve-wracking. I didn't know what to do, but the president of the building, the principal of the building believed in me. And they knew there was something in me that they liked. So I just had to prove to myself that I could do it and I could work hard. So telling the story and telling them that I became, I got an award my freshman year and then senior year, and I became a teacher, I became a coach, and now I'm lucky enough to be their principal. And then you can see their faces and then you get a clap. So it hits home just to connect. Yeah, I failed. I fail every day. But if they hear that and then they see the positive outcomes with it and the check-ins, you'll be all right.
And you both talked about what I consider learning communities, and it's bigger than just the school. It's about permeating out into the community that you serve. It's parents, it's caregivers, it's staff, it's everybody, it's businesses, it's everything. So my question to all of you right here, we're going to go around the room really quick, and we're going to start off with Joe. Joe, what do you do to ensure that you're connecting and being transparent with your community? What does that look like from the superintendent's lens? How do you do that?
I will get into that, but first I'm going to say that, guys, on my website, I keep a resume of failure. It lists all the things that I lost at, right? Soccer failures, jobs I didn't get, girls that dumped me. It's on my website so people can see that, it's not easy. It's all a ton of hard work. It's just not some guy who, he's got 10,000 followers and wrote a book. He's got it so easy. Dude, it's a lot of hard work, and you fall more than you get up. So check that out if you get a chance. drjoeclark.com. My resume of failure. How do I repeat the question, Dean? How
do you market to your community all the good things that you're all about, to be transparent, to tell your story? What does that look like from a superintendent's lens?
Really, for me, I mean, it's you are never criticized for communicating too much. So I over communicate, whether it be through the email blasts or the phone calls, always on Twitter. I try to get to everything that I can get to. And it's not just, everybody expects the superintendent to be at Friday night football games. They didn't expect me to be at the state bowling tournament where I was. And I was the only superintendent in the state bowling tournament. And people recognize that. You got to show, that you care. And I also send a ton of refrigerator letters, right? Letters to kids who do stuff great that they can put on the refrigerator. And then you know what else they can do? They can display it at their graduation party. That, boy, the superintendent wrote me a letter because I did good in the musical. So I'll send a ton of that stuff out. But ultimately, for me, it's vulnerability. It is drop the ego and admit when you're wrong. And that goes so far. When you screw up, guys, I should have called a snow day. This is why I didn't. My bad. Sorry. That simple. And instead of being defensive and just, you just got to be yourself. You got to be real and let people know that you make mistakes.
But you'll get out one day earlier. Don't worry about it. We got through the day. You're going to be there. Nick, how about you? And you're doing a great job at marketing what you do. Talk about that.
Yeah, like you. I saw you doing the videos, I swear. And then I was like, how can I one-up Dean? He's a master Twitter. So now I got to do it weekly. So my new thing is, I stole the videos, but I do a weekly video on YouTube. I have it translated in Spanish as well. I have a blast that goes out to the parents in the community. It's English and Spanish. At Twitter as much as possible. I try to get outside, have conversations with the parents when I could see them, dismissing the students and so forth. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in the spring. Like I said, we have these 6 wonderful clubs we started: robotics, Spanish literacy, outside classroom, drama, theater, student council. We got a spring musical coming in May. Just a lot of good things coming up at the end of the year, and we have to finish the year strong. And like Joe said, it is definitely a harder year than last year, and just to finish strong and be supportive to the community, the teachers, and the kids. That's the main thing.
You know what? That's good stuff. And we're back to doing the same thing, weekly email blasts, YouTube videos. We have all the clubs. We have everything going. We're back at full throttle right now. We have our drama production that's going to be coming up, show choirs going all over the state, all the things that we're supposed to do. We celebrate, market. I do a thing called Conversation and Coffee virtually now, where I put a link out once every 2 weeks. Any parent wants to come in and talk to us about what's going on in school. It's simple. It's easy. It's a 15-minute blast for them to see my face, my student support team's face, talk about anything and everything that has to do with middle level education. It's a win-win, and it's easy. Okay, there's nothing that I enjoy more than bragging about our school, our teachers, and our students. So, and you want to know who's the king of it? The guy right below me. Take it away, Josh. No one can keep up with you.
Well, yeah, it's social media, but I think ultimately for me, since the nature of my campus, obviously, if I was back at a 6A school with 2,550 kids, it's a different format, right? But in the nature of my campus, I see the parents dropping off the kids. So me being outside when it's cold in Texas, yes, it gets cold. All right. If it's raining,
Mr. Cruz goes to
and they
Cancun,
call the school off if it rains, Joe. If it rains, with a hint of a little
hey,
bit.
we get tornadoes, right? We just had a tornado warning the other day. It was scary. That was my first ever tornado. It scared me. But as long as they see me out there and it's raining hard, and I got the umbrella there trying to walk their kid just real quick inside of the building, they know that they could pull over and talk to me about whatever it is. Yeah. And the thing is, because of the language situation, they know they'll talk to me in Spanish. 80%, if not 90% of our kids are all Spanish. So I'm able to communicate with them nonstop of what their questions are. And I guide them as a dad, not as a principal. Mire, tiene que hacer esto. You need to do this. Tiene que ir aquí y aquí. Si no, venga acá a la escuela. So I tell them, come over here to the school, use our computers, and we'll guide you. That's the only way, because these people are just barely coming to the country and they need the hands-on. Let me show you how to do it. And I think that's how it's been great to make sure that our parents, whatever questions they might have, ask us. And the problem with that, and some of you might know this, but the Hispanic culture is the parents are very like, oh, no, don't mess with the school. Oh, no, el maestro, no, el director, oh, the principal, no. Whatever they say, no, señora. And I tell them, no, come and question us. Come and tell us. Because then they think you won't do anything. No, you need to have a voice. And I encourage them and I tell them, no, you need to do this. You need to follow chain of command. You need to go to this person, and that person. Because when they're ignorant of it, we all know this, and I'm going to be honest like always. People that sit in our chairs sometimes are too lazy or just shove off kids and their parents because it's easier for them that way. And if they don't question authority, even better. So I like guiding the parents on how to do it. So it's just using social media. It is what it is. I believe in it. That's where my client is, and that's where their parents are. So I make sure that I promote everything that we have on there. But that face-to-face in the morning, that face-to-face in the afternoon, I think it's crucial that we connect with our parents.
Listen, I couldn't say it any better. Listen, really, we're coming up on 45 minutes tonight. Guys, it's really good to see you, checking in. I don't care if you're in Massachusetts, Texas, New Jersey, or Ohio. We have the same type of mindset. We do what's right for kids. We sell a product every day, and we work hard to be leaders that people can look up to and that we can model what examples of good practices are all about. That's what leadership is all about. Hey, any last-minute thoughts? Go around the table really quickly. Anything you want to get out there, anybody? Joe?
Just love learning from you guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Have a good end of the school year.
Good stuff. Nick?
Same thing. You guys motivate me all the time. Love what you guys do. Love learning from new leaders. Stay safe. Love. Kids, family, everybody.
Josh?
Educators, connect with us. Let us know if you want to come on board. We need to have your experience. We still haven't heard from South Dakota. We still haven't heard from North Dakota. We have nobody from
California. That's a big state.
Right?
Where are they all? For crying out loud.
They're still chilling with that sun over there, whatever it is. But join us. But most importantly, to the teachers in Ohio, to the teachers in New Jersey, to the teachers in Massachusetts, to the teachers in the whole 50 states, thank you. Muchas gracias. Gracias por su corazón. Gracias por todo lo que dan. Thank you for everything that you give for our kids, the kids that are the future of our country. God bless you. Thank you very much.
And keep going. Hey, join us Sunday night as we come back to action again. Josh, you want to talk a little bit about that before we go?
Right now, there's this great guy that I learned about the other day. You put me on the spot right there. He's in
I threw that one at you like a slider.
Right? Yeah, right. Oh my, it was one of those awkward moments right now. But I heard him on he joined us with Tim Cavey's here. I just saw him make a comment.
Tim came on, yeah.
Right, and I learned about him and I checked out his book, and he's gonna give us some great. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Awkward
get it right.
Dead air.
There's no dead air, man. When we're talking about leadership, that happens.
DJ's enemy, man. The dead air.
So many.
Hold on, keep talking banter.
You got it. The background noise. All right, now as Josh finishes up right here, Sunday night.
Beyond the classroom, and the young man's name, who's in Cancun right now for spring break, is Tim Stevenson. So he'll be joining us for the Red Zone, talking about strategies, the philosophy of education, and you know what? Like we just said, you just hired some brand new people. They need to be hearing these foundational thoughts, ideas, and pedagogy. So join us for Unlock the Middle this coming Sunday at 7 o'clock.
That sounds good. Hey, guys, everybody else, have a great week. Thanks so much. Greatly appreciate you all. Keep doing what's best for kids. Keep leading your districts and your schools. That's what it's all about. Have a great night, everybody.
Later on, guys.
Good night.